Hello everyone, welcome to our video tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to learn how we can create queries with calculations. So to follow the tutorial, you are going to open our database called workers wage. That is if you have been following the tutorial. But if you don't have this database, you can watch the previous tutorials and learn more. So to create our query, we are going to use this table we have as November. So we want to go ahead and perform some calculations and we get the total amount that is spent under this wage total. So to do that, we are going to click on create. Then from create, we shall go to query design. From the query design, we are using this very table to help us get the total for wage total. So we shall click to add, then we close. So this time around, since we want to deal with only the wage total, we shall only insert this field for wage total. So I will double click. So when you double click, then we see wage total inserted in that area for field. Now to perform our calculation, if we look here, we do not see any option that can allow us to perform this calculation. So to access that option, we shall go to this design tab, but under show stroke hide group, we have this option for totals. So when we click this option for totals and then we look down here, we have this feature added total. Then in the group by cell, we shall click there. Then we use this arrow, and from the arrow we have a number of options to work with, but we are interested on sum because sum helps us to go ahead and calculate the total. You can get the average, you can get the mean, max, count, and so on. So let's click on sum. So when we click on sum, we shall now continue and run so that we perform our action. So I'll click on run. So when I click on run, we have our calculation performed for us. And again, if we look critically from this area, you will see that the name of this field has changed. So it is called sum of. So other words cannot be visible, but we can click and then we enlarge that field. So it is showing us it is sum of wage total. And here is the total calculated for us. However, if we look there, we shall see that our total has been calculated with a dollar sign, which is not what we want. So how do we format this dollar sign and put Uganda shillings symbol? And also remove this decimal places. To do that, we are going to open our query in design view because this is a datasheet view and we cannot modify anything from the datasheet view. So we right click and then select design view. So when we select design view, we are going to click in our field named wage total. So after there, we shall move our pointer to this show stroke hide group. Then our interest will be under this property sheet button. So we click on it. So when we click on it, we shall have this property sheet pane displayed for us. And then where we see format, we are going to click in that cell or that field. Then we now format our field from being dollar to Uganda shilling. So to do that, we are going to put UGI X. Then we put a space so that we separate the symbol from the values we shall have in our cell. Then we shall put the hash so that we are able to insert a digit or number or nothing. So after putting that hash, put a comma to enable us work with thousand separators. After there, we shall add our 3 more pound signs. So when you see under these decimal places and click there, here you can continue and say I want it to be 0. So we are done with formatting our field for wage total. So after doing that, let's go back and run so that the action is performed, and we see whether this will be done as we have said. So we click run. So when we click run and we look into our, if I can click aside and we look into our results, we shall see that our cell has been formatted with Uganda shillings symbol. So that's how we can perform calculations from a query, and also that's how we can go ahead and format a given cell. So we can give our query a name. We shall call it calculation. After we click on OK, and we have our query created. Next, we are going now to close this query by clicking on the close button. Then in our next example, we would like to find out how much wage is spent on each district. So to do that, we are going to get the total of the wage total field per district. Here we have around 4 districts, so we want to see how much is spent per district or on the employees per district. To do that, we go to create, then query, design, then we shall add our table and then close. Then this time, since we want to work with the district and the wage total, so we shall select district, we double click, then we go to wage total, we double click. So after, we shall make sure our calculation is performed under this field for wage total, because it is the field that contains the values that can help us go ahead with calculation. So to perform our calculation, we shall first of all click on this feature total. So after clicking on it, we shall have the total option inserted. Then we shall go in this field just under the wage total field. We click there, and then we use this option for sum. We click sum. After clicking sum, we click on run. So when we click on run, we have our districts, and then we have here our calculations performed. So under this district apart, we see the amount there. Kasesa is there, Luwero is there, then Mpigi is there. We can still adjust on this field and make it more visible. But again, we have the same scenario of the dollar sign and then the decimal places. So we can remove that by going to the design view. So from the design view, we shall click in that field for wage total. Now that we already have our property sheet displayed, we shall go to this format area. Then we put UGX, comma, then we define our format. Then decimal place, we shall say we want 0. After, we can run. So when we run, we see our cells now formatted with Uganda shillings. Let's go ahead and we save our query. So you can use this option or use this option we have on the quick access tool bar. So the name of our query will be calculations per district. Then we click on OK, and there we have the query name created. So that's how we can perform our calculations. Hope you found this video tutorial useful to you. That's it for now. See you in our next tutorial.